Awesome. Hi everybody, my name is Alex Yamada, also Aaron for some reason. I'm here to talk to you guys about concussions today. But before I get to my speech, I want to show you guys a really quick clip of a football player getting concussions. So just watch.
Mind that only a touchdown will do. Third and 5, he gets the 42 for a first down. That's not throws up the seam. What a hit by Marlon.
Replay.
Yeah, so that was a pretty hard hit. I'm a Chargers fan, so I don't feel too bad about him. So, okay, so today my speech to you guys is about concussions, what they are, their symptoms, and what you guys can do to recognize them, both as a bystander and as a victim. Now, as you guys saw, that was a pretty hard hit, and as you can see right now, he's in a lot of pain. Now, I want you guys to ask yourselves this: do you guys know how fragile your brain is and how important it is to your body? And, it's pretty important, right? Now think about this. What if that was your friend or your family member, and after the game, they came out on a stretcher, and then you hear news saying that their life and their career is completely alternated because of this hit? It's pretty important stuff that can happen from this. So, and I would know because when I was in middle school, I had a concussion on the back of my head right here. I was playing dodgeball and I fell back. And I was pretty scared too because I was like, as I was heading to the hospital, this is the first time I was put on a stretcher, and I was like, what's gonna happen to me? Am I gonna be able to walk or do anything? It turns out I was okay because I got medical help quickly, so I ended up fully recovering. So like I said before, I want to talk to you guys about what concussions are, what their symptoms are, and how you can recognize them. Now, first we want to talk about what concussions exactly are. Okay? Concussions, according to Richard C. Snyder, who was an MD and a professor at the University of Michigan, who wrote a book called Neck and Head Injuries in Football, stated that concussions are impacts to the brain from the skull, which occur when the skull collides with an outside force, usually another person or object. Now, as a result of these concussions, the brain will either swell, have damages on it, or in some severe cases, start actually bleeding. Now that I told you all what a concussion is, let's look at what the symptoms are. There are two types of symptoms. There are physical symptoms and emotional symptoms. Now, physical symptoms are, as you saw, being in major pain, throwing up, passing out, not being able to function correctly or walk around, depending on what part of your brain is impacted and how severe the impact is. Now, the emotional impacts are the ones that are the least reported and the most deadly. According to Peter Kading, who wrote in the January 2011 version of an issue of ESPN magazine, a pro football player, just like this guy, suffered many concussions throughout his career. As he began to retire, he became depressed and suicidal and eventually took his own life. Now, I want to get into my third point, which is what you can do to recognize the effects of a concussion as both a bystander and as a victim. Now, as a bystander, as we saw again, this guy was in pain, but you can also see if a person has a concussion basically if they come to you and they can't answer questions, they don't remember what happened before or after a concussion, they lose consciousness, or they just start acting irritable. These are the immediate effects of a concussion. Now, as a victim, you can feel these concussions in many ways. Maybe you're the one that's feeling down, like after you get hit, you just sit down in a chair, and you're like, dude, it's like, I feel bad. It's like I got hit hard and I don't know what's going on. Or maybe you start seeing blurry or double vision. Or in my case, I blacked out, right at the instant of the impact, and I couldn't remember what happened. As I went to the hospital, my mom kept asking me questions like, do you remember what happened? Do you know who you are? Do you remember what year it is? It was about 2005. I told her we were in 1974. That didn't work well. So I was lucky though. The guy next to me was like, "Dude, it's 1860." I'm like, "It's not." So these are the symptoms you can feel as a victim. All right. Now these symptoms were posted by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, which is a major health institution in the United States, and they have this on a website which they posted up in 2008. You can look it up yourselves under the category concussions in sports. So in conclusion, I want to go over once again my 3 points of my speech. The first is what concussion is. As I mentioned before, a concussion is an impact to the brain from the skull due to outside forces, which is usually from a collision. Now there are two types of impacts. Not impacts, symptoms. I see. There are physical symptoms, which obviously we went over again, and there are mental symptoms, which are the least reported and the most dangerous ones. Finally, there are many ways that you can tell whether you have a concussion as a bystander or as a victim. Now that I've given you guys this little bit of knowledge, I advise you guys that if you ever feel like you or anybody else have had a concussion, it is good to just get them help, but call medical authorities as quickly as you can, because if these concussions are not reported, these could lead to massive hemorrhages, which are brain bleedings or swellings, and these are usually what can kill people. And the more quickly you report concussions and you get people medical help, the higher chance they have of completely healing from it and not having to spend the rest of their lives with these symptoms or possibly death. Thank you very much.